So I just finished Path of Exile 2 Act 1, and I wanted to give my honest opinion. I wrote down some things here. I want to give this more for the people that are still on the fence about buying or jumping into early access for Path of Exile 2. Maybe it's somebody that never played an action RPG, or maybe it's people that played Path of Exile 1, thought it was too much, and don't know if they want to try Path of Exile 2. So this is going to be more tailored towards them. I'm going to break this down into 4 sections: the bad, the good, some tips for new players, and then my final thoughts on the game thus far. So sit back, relax, drink your morning coffee like I am, and let's get started. So starting with the bad. Obviously this is an early access game. I've had issues with some bugs here and there. Primarily it's just been some different abilities, either mine or the monsters, that just kind of stay there in screen and don't go away as they should, like some flying objects or whatnot. But it's nothing like game breaking or enough to cause me to say, oh my god, I can't play this anymore, I gotta get off until they fix this. So far it's just been some minor bugs like that. Another bad thing that I had was the lack of explanation for new players in terms of crafting some abilities, how certain things work. Although it is better than Path of Exile 1, I do feel like they still don't go very far into telling new players that are coming into this game for the first time. For example, if you come here, here's your gems, and if you're on keyboard, it's the letter G. These are your actual skills, and you'll learn how to place them. It'll teach you how to place these here, right? But what it doesn't tell you is, once you place an ability here, if you scroll over, you hit this arrow, it'll tell you more information about it: the ammunition, what it really does, the type of projectile, and then some special information like versus frozen enemies, what kind of damage, whatnot. Another thing that you can do as well is always attack without moving. You know, if you want to be able to just hit the button and it does the thing you wanted to do without you accidentally moving or moving aside, it'll keep doing that. The other thing too is if you're switching weapons, so here's my weapon set 1 and 2, and if I switch over, will this one have access to this ability, or will this one have access to that ability? Also certain things that it doesn't tell you. That's the basics. And the last thing, that not really a bad thing, it's just something that they don't offer as much in maybe in ARPGs, and something that could be of benefit in the future for players is just a little more character creator, allowing you to do, you know, whether you want to play a male or a female, maybe a little different races, something like that, just to give it a little more personal feeling, rather than just everybody having the same character and then putting the same skin and everybody looking similar to each other. It's just a little thing like that. On to the good stuff. The action feels good. I mean, the combat is fluid and responsive, making every fight feel impactful. Again, I haven't really had any issues where I say, oh my god, this bug or this boss is just too difficult. It's at most taken me 3 or 4 tries on a boss to even make it to Act 2. Again, I haven't played as much as other people just because I have a full-time job, I have a wife, I have 2 dogs, so life is busy. But what I've been able to play as a casual player, I don't find it difficult at all. I don't find that this game is enough to rage quit in some areas where I've seen videos of people, they die and it's like, oh my god, I'm done, and then they cut off the stream. It's not bad. Gameplay overall, the core gameplay loop of this exploration, battling, you know, getting better gear, so far it feels good. Feels rewarding. Doesn't feel like I'm not getting any. As you can see, I'm barely in Act 2 and I have 1, 2, 3. Oh, hold on, let me go back. 4 with my main weapon. This one I actually created myself. I didn't actually get, but this gloves, the chest piece, and the boots I picked up. and then I created this into rare for myself. So far, again, I don't feel like I've gotten to a point where I haven't gotten good items, where things are not feeling well in terms of combat, where I'm just getting beat over and over and over. For the most part, it's just being unprepared, not knowing what the boss actually does, and then learning what the boss does, and just being able to move over, accommodate for those things, and then you beat the boss. It's not that hard, to be honest. Visually, as you can tell, this is the beginning section of Act 2. That's why I'm not moving, so not to show it too much. But once you get here, visuals look nice. It's a very appealing game. Visually, it looks very different from Act 1 to Act 2 already, and you'll see that once you get started. Sound and music, very good. There are some bosses that give you sound cues of when they're going to attack, and if you pay attention, you can dodge them and not take any damage. Visually, again, I don't think that there's been any issues with any bosses hitting me or me not sidestepping well enough because I missed a cue, because it's not visually good. It's just me not reacting fast enough. Hardcore versus being accessible. I think this is a hardcore because, again, the passive tree is massive, and understanding this may take a little time, but again, just pick what you feel feels good for you. What kind of playstyle you want to play. For instance, I'm a mercenary, and if you see, most of these are just damage, but I did take a couple for my armor and evasion just to give me a little more survivability, because I felt like, oh my god, maybe I'm being one shot too easily. And you just gotta find your playstyle and accommodate for whatever class you choose. Accommodate for that. Don't be intimidated by this. This is pretty easy. And that's coming from somebody that's only been playing for, I think, like 4 hours, 6 hours at max in this game. And the biggest thing, I guess, is just the gem skills. The easy rundown of how your gem skills work here is you pick up a gem. Let me go to my stash real quick and I'll show you. And so you pick up a gem like this. Obviously, when you're starting out, you're level 1. Pick up a gem. You right click it or hit whatever key your button when you're in a controller. It'll tell you, okay, you can unlock your skills. Obviously, mine's at level 3, so I can do 1 or 3. And then there's a 5, which I've already gotten a few, but I don't have one right now. And it'll tell you, okay, which ability do you want to unlock? And you read them. And if you click on it, it'll give you a little video. And if you hear, it actually explains what it does. And then you're like, oh, that sounds cool. Let me grab one of those. And you get it. So once you have that skill, it'll be still in your inventory, and then you grab it and you put it into your skills here. Once you put it here, you get it to unlock support gems for that skill, like these. So for instance, I have the fragmentation round. What did I add to support it? Well, I added a double barrel, so it gives me 2 shots. So if you look, there's 2 shots. If I take it out, it gives me 1 shot. Put it back in, it gives me 2 shots. And then the other thing I added was acceleration, so it makes the support skill the projectile fly faster. Again, you make your playstyle how you choose to. If you wanted to do, for instance, overpower, which builds up 50 more stun, and put it on this fragmentation round, you can do that. Nobody tells you in this game, nobody tells you what's good, what's bad. There's some optimal ways you can build it, but it doesn't mean that that's the best way. If you're not having fun, then that's not the best way. You build what is best for you. So that's the end for the good stuff, which I think it's overall just a very well polished game for being an early access versus other games that come out on full release and have major bugs, day 1 patches, because it's so unplayable. This next section I'm calling tips for new players / other considerations. for those that don't know if they want to invest those $30 into early access. So while the lack of character creator is a minor downside for some, the game makes up for it with unique classes and skill systems. Again, I really do enjoy this skill system in the way that it lets you customize the character however you want to play in terms of the skills. Not so much how you look, but the skills and the passive tree. So it gives you a different sort of character creator, if you want to say it that way. The complexity of the game might feel daunting at first, but if you stick with it, you'll find that a deeply rewarding experience. Honestly, I'm already beating Act 1, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I think that it's a great game. I haven't had any major issues, and like I said, I think for what you're getting for $30, it is very polished. It's not perfect, so don't think it's a perfect game. There's still bugs, but I think it's better than I'm not trying to say better than other games, but I think for what you're getting for $30, it is well worth it. The tips that I have is your first playthrough. That's what I've seen on YouTube from players, from my experience on Path of Exile 1. Your first playthrough, just enjoy the campaign. Take your time, learn the mechanics, learn how everything works, beat the campaign, and then once you beat the campaign, you can either try to do the late game objectives at that point, but I recommend going back and starting a new character, either the same type of character if you liked it or something brand new. And now that you know the campaign, you can go through it much faster. You'll have gear in your stash for other characters. So if I go back to my stash here, you'll have other gear to build other characters faster. Like for instance, I built a witch because I had all this for intelligent and witch, so I'm gonna do that probably off stream, but I'll enjoy that second character. And then once you get to the second character, focus that one more on the late game. You'll have gold build up. You'll be able to do much more with that second playthrough than you were able to do with the first playthrough. The last two tips I have are for you when you come into the game and you're realizing, what do I do? You know, how do I play this? How do I even do ABC or XYZ? So there's two things you can do. You can go into YouTube, find a guide specific for the type of playstyle you're looking for or the character you're trying to play, or do what I'm doing and just experimenting, seeing what works, what you like, what you don't like, and enjoy what the game really is. And it's just an experimental character builder, to be honest. And again, you're looking at, get the passive tree here, you look at your passive tree, and I'm playing a mercenary. So let's say if I decided instead of doing, you know, damage, I wanted to go critical, or I wanted to go attack speed and tankiness and other builds. And the thing is, you can build a character however you want. Nobody's telling you, you know, not to. And then the other thing too is, if you are having trouble, there are guides on Reddit or other websites that can give you what you're looking for. Of like, you want to take the thinking out of it, find a guide. It's the community is great in Path of Exile. People are always trying to help each other to become better. And if you're looking for something specific, just reach out online and people will help out. If not me, obviously, because I'm still new to the game, there are other people with a hell of a lot more experience than I do and were willing to help out. So just enjoy the game. Those are just some tips, some considerations, and I'll leave you with my final thought. Act 1 of Path of Exile 2 has left a positive impression overall. I'm just gonna premise it like that. The game is visually stunning, engaging, and challenging without feeling impossible.